Hi, everyone. My name is Adam Weiner, and welcome to the UroOnc Minute. These are brief updates from experts in the field of urologic oncology. We're continuing our series here at EAU 26 in London. We're live here with Dr. Giorgio Gandaglia, who is he's coming from San Raffaele Hospital in Milan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
So, Giorgio, you have many expertise in prostate cancer, but I think it'd be lovely today to talk about what I would call controversial topic of lymph node dissection for patients for prostate cancer. So, why don't you get us started?
Yeah, it has been a very controversial topic, as you're saying, because basically our guidelines in Europe removed the indication to perform a lymph node dissection, even if we see suggestions from trials such as the Memorial Sloan Kettering one that this procedure might improve outcomes. It might improve metastasis-free survival. Probably in selected patients, but still the results are there. This is a secondary endpoint of a randomized control trial. We are looking forward to seeing the results of the Brazilian trial, the updated results, and we need to be able to counsel our patients regarding the potential benefits of an extended pelvic nodal dissection in terms of metastasis-free survival. Why is the MSKCC trial controversial? Because basically the difference in the number of nodes removed was relatively small. They compared the limited versus an extended approach, but they measured the difference in the number removed of only 2 nodes. And the primary endpoint was biochemical recurrence-free survival, and that was not met, but they were able to demonstrate a benefit in clinical recurrence or metastasis-free survival at a longer term follow-up.
And of course, important trial, wonderful trial. You also have to recall they included anyone who got a prostatectomy, right? Including a low and favorable intermediate risk population.
Yeah, this is key, and I strongly believe that there's a role for a pelvic nodal dissection, but only in selected patients. You don't want to perform these procedures in patients with T and zero disease because it's a staging procedure, and nowadays we have modern staging techniques, preoperative imaging modalities such as PSMA-PET. So this can help us in refining the selection process for the identification of candidates for an extended nodal dissection. And even when we have a negative PSMA-PET, we know that the negative predictive value is not 100%, particularly in the very high-risk setting. So there are patients with a negative PSMA-PET before surgery and the very high-risk disease features who would harbor micrometastatic disease not seen at PSMA-PET. We need to be able, and we probably might impact on the natural history of the disease if we are able to identify these patients and remove the nodes in this population of TM1 patients.
And you're talking about who being selected, and I think that's important because, well, an extended lymph node dissection is not benign. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience and what it takes in the OR and patient experience afterwards?
Yeah, it increases the risk of complications. First of all, doubles the time of the operative time. It increases the risk of bleeding, of postoperative complications, readmissions, and we, as a surgical urological community, we do it if it is necessary, if we know that it is improving the survival of our patients, but if we can avoid a morbid procedure, we are more than happy to skip it. So it's really a matter of being able to properly select patients. When we use multivariable models, we can reduce basically by 80% or almost the number of nodal dissections performed without missing additional nodes, so with missing maybe 1 or 2% additional patients who would harbor a PL1 disease expanded pathology.
Well, let me ask you this then. I think you're right that sometimes taking it out of your hand, putting it into that of a calculator to just kind of guide you and keep you consistent with patients is an excellent move. Let me ask you though, in practice, if you're doing a lymph node dissection, would you ever do a limited or would you always do extended?
When we do it, we do extended. I see no role for a limited one. And please remember also that the trials we do at now are comparing a limited versus an extended dural dissection, and we should be careful when we try to extrapolate the results of this trial to support the not PLND approach, because they basically didn't consider it. So it's highly appealing to say to a patient, you have a CM0 and IN0 disease at PSMA-PET. So the disease is only in the prostate, forget about the nodal dissection. At the same time, we might understage some of these patients, and that is where we need models to identify those who have a PN1 disease.
And I think that's great advice for our audience, our listeners, people who are doing prostatectomy across the country, across the world, to understand what goes into that counseling. So you mentioned some of the forthcoming trials or analyses. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what we can expect, what you're excited about?
Yeah, we have at the American meeting, we expect the results of the resident trial, which was initially negative. They identified only a subgroup of patients who might benefit from an extended nodal dissection, and the longer term follow-up will probably confirm this finding. We need to wait for a couple of months.
Giorgio Gandaglia, thank you all for joining us on the UroOnc Minute. We'll be back with more interviews from PAU 26.